Hello, I'm Pam Carruthers of healingstars.com. This is the chart for the new moon, 1st of August. It's set for London, and so it's British summertime, for 11:48 minutes, so the wee hours of the morning. What is, to me, the most important thing about this new moon is that Mercury, hooray, is going direct. So here is Mercury. I'm using, here it is, Mercury at 23 Cancer, 56. At last, it's been a very long Mercury retrograde period since July, the first week of July, which was the 7th of July. So that is a long time. Hopefully, you've sorted out your life, your emails, your communications, and hopefully you've been patient, because it has been a test of patience. So now we have a very different month than we've had in July. In July we had eclipses. It's always a tough time with eclipses. It's a time when a lot of fear can happen, but also the benefit would be like the spiritual and a sort of rebooting of energy. So now we have the Sun in Leo. Now the Sun is really happy in the sign of Leo. It's its own sign. It's the lion. It's the heart energy. Think of lion heart. It has to do with shining, with play, especially play. And on British TV recently, there's been a lovely series all about animals, young animals playing. And also the correlation that it's talking about is that creative solutions come from some sort of play, because play makes connections in the brain to keep the brain young. I'm quoting. So I'm encouraging everyone this month, with Leo energy, to be involved in some sort of play. When I grew up, we were always outside playing in the garden, and I see two little children in the garden opposite me, and all they do is run up and down the garden. That's all they do. They seem to have great fun. So fun, creativity, and play. Now, these are really good qualities. Notice Venus and the Moon and the Sun and Mars are all in the sign of Leo. What that says is that there's 4 planets in Leo, so we're really getting the point across here. They are also, this is a fire sign, right? Leo's a fire sign. Think of fire, it goes upwards, it's got enthusiasm, it brings light, it brings warmth. And it's also, notice Mars especially, trining Jupiter in its own sign. That's incredibly good fortune and really to be enjoyed. The other aspect of Leo is leadership. And leadership is coming from the heart. It's listening, not just with the ears, not just with the mind, but listening from the heart. And I'm encouraging that this month. Now, Mercury will move back into Leo. I touched into it briefly while it was retrograde on the 12th of August, which happens to be an incredibly important day. These often occur in astrology, so put this in your diary. On that day, Mercury back into Leo, Jupiter will be direct. Any planet out of these outer planets, and Jupiter is not quite an outer planet, but when a planet goes direct, things start moving ahead. And Jupiter's all about teachers, spiritual teachers, especially at this time. I'll explain in a moment. Uranus on the same day goes retrograde, so this can indicate sudden changes. It could be a lottery win if you have a chart that says yes, you can win the lottery, but not if you don't. And that is just before, it's 2 days later, Venus will join the Sun. Now, Venus, here's Venus, there's the Sun. Venus is now invisible because the Sun's rays is right under the Sun's rays, in other words. And when it joins, it's like going into the throne room of the king, you could say. It's a very important process, Venus's cycle. And while it's invisible, the next thing it will be an evening star, but it's about 2 months invisible. So if you're heavily influenced by Venus, to be aware of that. And push against the tendency perhaps to go invisible. Leo is not about being invisible. Leo is not. And even if you are reluctant to be in the spotlight, it's about stretching yourself, I would suggest for you. Do something, Uranus, unexpected to change what you might normally do. The full moon will be on the 15th of the month, and then Mars later goes on the 18th, goes into the sign of Virgo. Then, of course, during the month, all planets will start moving into Virgo. It's interesting, it's the back to school sign, I always think. We still have certain things going on in this chart, you might spot them, but we have got Uranus and Venus in a tight square. That's very independent, but also it's about a love, Venus, of things that are different, unusual, such as astrology, as a for instance. We still have the nodes of the moon with Saturn and Pluto. This is ongoing, it's not disappearing. And we still have Jupiter making a right angle to Neptune. All of that is like, yeah, get used to it. But certainly coming back to the emphasis on this lovely Leo energy, in Vedic astrology, it's a lunar mansion called Pushya. And in Vedic astrology, it uses a different system. It's to do with the sidereal rather than the tropical zodiac. And sidereal is to do with the actual stars or constellations. And this is a very, very good, it's called nakshatra, right, to be technical with you. And it's where Jupiter is exalted. And Jupiter is the priest of the gods. And Jupiter is called Brihaspati. And the key words are prosperity, expansion, popularity, nourishing, and happiness. All very positive things. So the new moon is starting a cycle right up to the next new moon, very much about this quality of nurturing and nourishing. And the god is Brihaspati. So he is Jupiter, the teacher or priest as well, you might think. So anything that started under this lunar mansion can be very, very beneficial. You have the Sun and Venus in that lunar mansion up until the 3rd of August. So if you're thinking of starting something, don't do it on the new moon. There's invisible, the moon's not there, the moon's a public. But if you have got time on Saturday, it would be a really good day to do it, or late on Friday, I would suggest. So this is a feeling of a spiritual path as well. And the spiritual path does involve religion. It does enjoy also, it's about gaining wisdom and enjoying the good things in life. Doesn't that sound better than the month we've just experienced? I hope so. So thank you for watching. Pam Carruthers of healingstars.com. And if you sign up to my newsletter, I am going to be giving a webinar very soon. I'm thinking of 2 things to give as a webinar, but I do offer these wonderful free webinars. People really like them. Thank you again, Pam Carruthers of healingstars.com.